All right, so you may have heard the best way to get started in real estate is start out by wholesaling. In this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how to start a wholesale real estate business. All right, so in this episode, I'm gonna give you my exact blueprint of how I started my real estate wholesale business in 2013. And definitely stick with me to the end. I'm gonna give you several tips and tricks and techniques that you can compress time frames and get your business to where you want it faster. All right, so it's 2013. The Army has sent me to go to school, to a private school, but one thing I didn't realize was I was gonna have to pay for these private school classes, these classes out of my pocket. The GI Bill only covers so much, so I was kind of at a little bit of a dilemma. I was currently renovating a house that I was gonna rent out. I had bought a rental and I was putting all this sweat equity in it, and I was maxed out. Like my Home Depot card was maxed out, my Amex was maxed out, and I also had to pay for all these private classes. So I always heard that, it's super easy to make money in wholesaling real estate, wholesaling and signing contracts in real estate. Well, I heard it was easy, so I figured I would just start taking some action. And here's what I did. I went to a program called Propstream, and you can find it by going to landsharkslist.com. There's a link below in the description. This is a 7-day free trial to where you can check out this exact list I'm gonna talk to you about. Basically, what I wanted to find was I wanted to find motivated house sellers. And who would be more motivated than someone that was behind on their mortgage? So I got an entire list that I printed out, and this was in Palm Bay, Florida. I drove down to Palm Bay, Florida, and started door knocking on all these people that were behind on their mortgages. And let me tell you, when I would knock on their door, they would open it and they were just so happy to see me. They would give me cookies. No, that's totally wrong. They were pissed. They were mad. They thought I was from the bank. They thought I was there to steal their house, and they didn't want to talk to me. I want you to get 3-inch thick skin like the rhinos behind me. You're gonna take torpedoes. These people are gonna be upset. And I wish I would have known this at the time. I wish someone would have told me this at the time, because my door knocks got lighter and lighter and lighter until I made it up in my mind that someone was probably gonna shoot me if I knocked on their door too loud. And then I ultimately started just putting little sticky notes on these doors because I got scared. Let me tell you, I did enough sticky notes where it finally worked. And by about the 12th or 13th sticky note, I figured it was time for me to take a break. Like, I'd done enough for the day. Went to a friend's house. I was on the way to the friend's house, and I missed 2 phone calls from a guy that was desperately in need of my services. What services did I have? I didn't know. I was creating them as I went. But I turned around and went back to this gentleman's house, and he was fed up. He had like a stack of mail high enough to almost go over his coffee table, and he was no longer answering letters because most of them was hate mail. He was so far behind on his bills, and he said, I've got 7 days till the bank kicks me out of this house. Do you want to buy it? I said, great. What do you owe on the house? And he told me a number. So I got it under contract for exactly what he owed on the house. And then I went straight home. I took pictures while I was there. I put the pictures on Craigslist, and I explained the whole entire house. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, no repairs needed, needs carpet, needs paint, smells like, you get it. And I had a buyer that called me and said, actually it wasn't the buyer, it was the owner of a title company that called me and said, hey Brent, I have a buyer looking for that exact type of property in that exact neighborhood. We will pay what you're asking. I only asked about $5,000 over what I had it under contract for. I had it under contract for $150,000. The buyer was buying it for $155,000. I said, great, let's get it under contract. So we did a quick assignment agreement, and I was off to the races. It's now day of closing, and I show up to the house because my buyer calls me so upset because he went to do his final inspection, and guess what? This guy had not moved anything out of his house whatsoever. He had once again put his head in the sand and gave up. Well, I said, no, buddy, we're not giving up. We're gonna get to closing. We're gonna get this done, because I had a gift for him at the end. I wanted to give this guy at least $600 cash. I was gonna do it in the envelope because I was gonna actually go and cash my check and show back up and give this guy cash. Had them both bring trucks and trailers, and we moved this guy to a storage unit that I paid for. So all said and done, closing happened at 5:30 p.m. And I made, after all those expenses, paying the movers, giving this guy $600 cash, I still made a $3,700 net profit on my first wholesale deal that I had no clue what I was doing. But let me tell you what happened. My crazy, imperfect speed of action got me a deal. And guess what it got me? It actually got me a second deal. I forgot to take my Craigslist ad down. Someone that was just down the road had a property under contract as well. She did not have a buyer's list. And she called me and said, hey Brent, would you be interested in helping me wholesale this real estate contract I've got? Here's the address, check it out. I never even went to the property. I said, absolutely, I've got this under control. I'll call you back in 5 minutes. I'll have a buyer for you. And I was so confident, and it just kept going with me. And I called that original title agent that brought me the buyer. His name was Lou, by the way. And I said, hey, do you think Lou wants this house in Sebastian, Florida? I got it. It's ready to go. It's under contract for this price. We'll sell it to you for this price. It was $9,000 over. She had it under contract for $140,000. We were asking $149,000. And me and the other wholesaler was going to split $9,000. So $4,500 each way. Not a bad payday. So Renee was her name, the title agent. She's still down there doing titles. And she said, no, Lou doesn't buy that, but I will buy that one for $149,000. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I said, let's do it. When can you close? This one we had a little bit more time on. And she said, I'll close in 2 weeks. So we close in 2 weeks. I go and pick up a $9,000 check written to me as an assignment fee. And I call the original wholesaler that brought me the deal. I said, I've got $4,500 for you. Where do you want to meet? She literally met me down the street at a business that same day. I wrote her a check and did the deal. 2 deals, not knowing what I'm doing. That's my exact blueprint. You've got to just start taking immediate, massive action. As promised, I told you I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks to explode your real estate business. I'm gonna fast forward to 2015 as I move across the country and as I really explode my real estate wholesale business. But before I do, definitely hit that subscribe button. I come out with these videos 5 days a week. I love to talk about land wholesaling and house wholesaling, and I'm gonna bring you so much value. You're gonna be so happy you did. So hit that subscribe button. Go ahead, I'll wait. So fast forward to about 2015. I had only done 2 real estate wholesale deals in 2013, and then I didn't do any for a couple more years after that. I was actually just focused on becoming an Army officer. I knew I had to move across the country, and I planned as soon as I hit the ground, my feet hit the ground in Colorado, I'm picking my wholesale business back up off the ground again. I do not recommend this for anybody. Never stop momentum. I had momentum going, and I should have kept going with it. So I had to start all over again. But let me tell you exactly where I started. I'm gonna give you some lists that I want you to mail if you're looking to start a house wholesaling company or a land wholesaling company. These lists are an absolute must and will get you rocking and rolling quickly. The first list I had already kind of talked about. That's the landsharkslist.com. If you go to this website, the link is below in the description, you can get notice of defaults, or these are people basically in lis pendens or behind on their mortgages. There's several different names for it, and it's a little bit different for each state, but that's all we're looking for. We're looking for the people that are behind on their mortgages, and we want to mail those people a postcard. And I'm gonna give you the exact postcard that I use a little bit later as a free gift. The next is the vacant house list, or the vacant list. This is a house that the United States Postal Service has deemed as vacant. So no one's living there, so they're not delivering mail there. This can also be found in most counties at the landsharkslist.com. That's landsharkslist.com. It's below in the description. And the final list I want to talk about, and I kept the best for last, is the tax delinquent list. We've made an absolute fortune mailing this tax delinquent, I can barely say it, the tax delinquent list for houses, land, and apartments. What do I mean by apartments? I mean multifamily. Anything 3 units to 5 units. This has been a great list for us. And we mail it every single 12 weeks. So the list is it's basically I get it once a year, and I try and get the last 3 years. I want to see the people that are behind on the last 3 years of their taxes. I don't care if they paid them up. If they got behind, I want to mail that person. I mail them 4 times a year, every 12 weeks. And I won't throw away them until the list goes bad, the actual record goes bad, and we'll get rid of it then. But every year I get a new list and we'll suppress it. We're not gonna mail the same person twice, we're gonna suppress it. So if they've been on there 3 years in a row, that's a great sign of motivation. And I mail this list a postcard every 12 weeks. As promised, I'm gonna go ahead and give you that postcard. It's below in the description. The link is below in the description, and it's thelandsharks.com/postcard. Postcard. This is the exact postcard that I've used to buy over 280 something parcels of land, to do over probably 150 house deals. This postcard is absolutely amazing. All right, so you might be thinking, well, Brent, you gave me all these great lists to mail. You gave me the exact postcard to mail. How do I mail this postcard? I'm gonna give you one more pro tip. This is the exact mail house that I use. If you go to the description below, there's a link in there that says landofferletter.com, landofferletter.com. This is a mail house that I use. I send them my list and I send them the postcard, and they merge these two together. It's called mail merging, and they'll put my information, they'll put my return address, they'll put my phone number. She just needs to know, and this Tara works at the 3D Mail House. It's called 3D Mail. And by going to landofferletter.com, they're gonna ask for your name and the phone number, and Tara's gonna get you set up. She's gonna take such great care of you. And on average, if you're sending at least 5,000 or more postcards, you get a special rate of like 45 cents per postcard. This is like the cheapest like you'll ever find. Now granted, that might add up when you're sending 5,000. They do lesser options as well. There's no setup fees, no nothing. So that's my pro tip for you. That's my extra special gift for you. I hope you were able to subscribe to the video. And guys, as you know, the real estate market is absolutely exploding right now. I've got a tried and true method of buying vacant raw land at maximum discounts, like pennies on the dollar, and selling this stuff in my sleep for premium and retail prices. And I box those methods up exactly, giving you the step-by-step process and holding you by the hand, and we walk you through it. And if you're interested in something like that and building a business that serves you and your family and others, go below in the link, the description below. There's a link called thelandsharks.com. Go on there, schedule a call. You'll talk with someone on my team. We'll see what your real estate goals are. And if we feel like we're a good fit together, I'd be honored to coach you.